Canada became a nation in 1867, yet large parts of its land remain uninhabited and little explored. Shaped by time and isolation, these remote areas reveal parts of the country few ever encounter. In Tuktoyaktuk, the ground that used to stay frozen all year is now starting to break down, causing the soil under homes to sink and collapse. At Sunwapter Falls, glacial meltwater pushes through narrow rock walls, steadily reshaping the land. And at Writing on Stone, markings from centuries past remain preserved in sandstone formations carved by time. Stay with me as we uncover Canada's hidden wonders, places far more fascinating than any postcard could capture. Tuktoyaktuk is the only community on the Arctic Ocean connected to the rest of the region by public road, thanks to the Inuvik Tuktoyaktuk Highway, making it the furthest north someone can drive in the region. Historically, the area has been used by the Inuvialuit for centuries as a place to harvest caribou and beluga whales. Its natural harbour played a role in transporting supplies to other settlements as the community became a centre for offshore oil and gas exploration, especially after the construction of large industrial buildings during oil booms. It was also a key site for the distant early warning sites DEW line during the Cold War, with radar domes installed to monitor airspace. Just outside Tuktoyaktuk is the Pingo Canadian landmark, which protects 8 Pingos, which are ice-cored hills that rise from the flat tundra. The Pingos are formed by the freezing and expansion of groundwater in permafrost, creating earth-covered ice mounds. The region has the highest concentration of Pingos in the world, with around 1,350 in the area. Ibyuk Pingo, the most famous, is the tallest in the country and the second tallest on Earth. The landmark is open year-round, though walking on the Pingos is restricted during certain months to protect the delicate permafrost and foliage. The site is a focus of scientific research and is the only official national landmark of its kind in the region, established to protect these unusual landforms and their surrounding environment. Gabaldi Provincial Park is part of a dormant volcanic belt and includes steep mountains, forests, and alpine lakes. The park is named after Mount Garibaldi, which received its name from Captain George Henry Richards during a survey in the 1800s, honouring Giuseppe Garibaldi. The Squamish people, however, have always called the mountain Nchake, meaning dirty place, or grimy one, a reference to the volcanic ash that turns the Cheeky River murky. The area has been important to indigenous communities for hunting, foraging, and gathering obsidian. In Squamish mythology, the peak is where people tied their canoes during a great flood to avoid being swept away. The area was officially designated as a park in the early 1900s after mountaineers established climbing camps and completed first ascents of several peaks. Garibaldi Lake is a turquoise alpine lake whose colour comes from glacial flour suspended in the meltwater from nearby glaciers. The lake was formed when lava flows from Mount Price and Clinker Peak block the valley, creating a natural dam called the Barrier, which traps meltwater. The Battleship Islands, small lava outcrops, dot the lake's surface. Some of these islands are connected to the shore by stone causeways built by visitors. The only outflow from the lake is through cracks in the lava dam, with water emerging as springs at the base of the barrier. Wedgemount Falls is visible from certain points along the trail, but can be easy to miss due to the steep terrain. The lake itself is surrounded by rugged peaks and glaciers, making it a destination for experienced hikers and mountaineers. Wedgemount Lake is another turquoise alpine lake in the park, located below Wedge Mountain, the highest peak in the area. The lake is fed by meltwater from Wedgemount and Armchair glaciers. The hike to Wedgemount Lake is considered one of the most challenging in the park, with a steep elevation gain over a short distance. The trail passes through forests, rockslide areas, and offers views of Wedgemount Falls. Lunenburg is a historic fishing town defined by its planned grid layout, colourful wooden buildings, and a long-standing legacy in shipbuilding. The town gained international fame as the birthplace of the Bluenose, a racing schooner that became a symbol of maritime skill and appears on the national dime. Its economy was also historically centred on fishing and trade, with the Lunenburg cure of dried cod finding markets in the West Indies. During the era of sail, the harbour was filled with schooners, and the town played a role in rum running during Prohibition. St John's Anglican Church is one of the oldest Protestant churches in the region and was the first church established in Lunenburg. Construction began shortly after the town's founding, using wood salvaged from an older church building in Boston, and incorporated Carpenter Gothic features over time. The church was central in the community, serving settlers who were mainly German and French-speaking Protestants. Mahone Bay is a Nova Scotia town known for its many islands and 3 churches along the shoreline. The name comes from the French word mahone, referring to a type of barge used by pirates who frequented the area. The Micmac were the original inhabitants, and the area later became home to settlers from Germany, Switzerland and France, as part of the same migration that founded Lunenburg. The Cheltenham Badlands formed over 400 million years ago, originally as the floor of an ancient sea during the late Ordovician period. The exposed red and green Queenston Shale seen today was hidden beneath soil and forest until the late 1800s, when European settlers cleared the land for farming and cattle grazing. Poor agricultural practices and the removal of trees led to rapid erosion, stripping away the topsoil and exposing the colourful shale beneath. The area is now recognised as a provincially significant earth sciences area of natural and scientific interest, and is part of the Niagara Escarpment, a UNESCO World Biosphere Reserve. Cap de Rosier Lighthouse is known as the tallest lighthouse in the region, standing on a high cliff at the point where the St. Lawrence River meets the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Its name comes from the nearby village of Cap de Rosier, which translates to Cape of the Wild Roses, likely referring to the wild roses that grow in the area. The lighthouse was constructed in the mid-19th centuries using limestone and white marble, with walls over 7 feet thick at the base. It was built to guide ships safely past the dangerous waters at the mouth of the river, a zone known for shipwrecks due to reefs, fog, and ice. The Gulf of St. Lawrence is a vast body of water at the mouth of the St. Lawrence River. Lawrence River, bordered by several provinces and featuring a mix of deep channels, submarine platforms, and islands. Indigenous peoples, including the Mi'kmaq, fished and hunted marine mammals here for thousands of years. The first documented European voyage in these waters was by Jacques Cartier, who also named the surrounding lands. The Magdalene Islands, or Les Îles de la Madeleine, are located in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and have a history of seasonal indigenous use for fishing and hunting that stretches back thousands of years. The islands received their current name from François Doublé de Honfleur, who named them after his wife, Madeleine Fontaine. European settlement began after the dispersal of the Acadians, with French-speaking Acadian families establishing a community focused on fishing, hunting, and maritime trade. Abraham Lake is a man-made reservoir famous for a winter phenomenon that draws visitors from around the world, the appearance of frozen methane bubbles beneath its clear ice. These bubbles form when organic matter, like plants and animals, decomposes at the lake bottom, releasing methane gas. As the lake freezes, the gas gets trapped in layers, creating stacks of white bubbles that are visible through the ice. The effect is especially pronounced here because strong winds sweep snow off the surface, keeping the ice clear. The lake itself was created when the Bighorn Dam was built on the North Saskatchewan River, flooding the Kootenay Plains. Interestingly, one of the largest Sasquatch sightings ever reported happened here, with multiple witnesses claiming to see large footprints and a tall, upright creature near the lake. The Okanagan Valley is known for its long lakes, vineyards, orchards, and a warm, sunny climate that attracts visitors year-round. The valley was first inhabited by the Syilx people, also known as the Okanagan, who moved seasonally to fish, hunt and gather food. They built semi-permanent winter villages and held large gatherings for harvesting kokanee salmon. The arrival of fur traders in the early 1800s brought new trade routes, including the Okanagan Fur Brigade Trail, which linked the region to larger networks. The valley also has a reputation for wine production, boasting more wineries than any other region in the country, with over 200 and counting. The area is also home to the only desert in the country, adding to its unique landscape. Colona is the largest city in the Okanagan Valley and sits on the eastern shore of Okanagan Lake. The Syilx people were the area's first inhabitants. Then the European settlement began with the establishment of a mission on the sandy shores of the lake in the mid-19th centuries. Agriculture, especially fruit growing, became a major industry, and Colona quickly developed into a regional hub. Following the region's reputation, the city alone features about 40 of its great wineries. Okanagan Lake is the centrepiece of the valley, stretching for over 100 kilometres between Vernon and Penticton. The lake was shaped by glacial activity, and its deep basin was once part of a much larger glacial lake. It is famous for the legend of Ogopogo, a serpent-like creature said to inhabit its waters. The story of Ogopogo has indigenous origins, with the Syilx calling it Nahaia Ik, or lake serpent spirit. Sightings and stories about the creature have been reported for generations, making it a local icon and tourist attraction. Other than that, the lake offers a variety of recreational activities, such as paddleboarding, wake surfing, kayaking, and swimming. Mont Tremblant is known for its mountain resort, outdoor activities, and year-round appeal. The name comes from the Algonquin people who called it the Trembling Mountain. According to their beliefs, the mountain was home to a powerful spirit, and rumbling sounds or trembling sensations were attributed to this presence. In the 1930s, Joseph Bondurant Ryan, an American explorer, visited the mountain and was inspired to create a ski resort after climbing to the summit with friends. Within a year, the Mont Tremblant Lodge opened, featuring one of the first chairlifts in North America. It quickly gained recognition as a ski destination, especially after American writer and radio broadcaster Lowell Thomas promoted it through national broadcasts. Big Tub Harbour's name comes from its shape, which resembles a large tub, providing a natural shelter for boats entering from the sometimes dangerous waters of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. The harbour became important in the late 1800s as shipping traffic increased in the region. Two of the most visited shipwrecks in Big Tub Harbour are the Schooner Sweepstakes and the Steamer City of Grand Rapids. The Sweepstakes was a two-masted schooner damaged off Cove Island while carrying coal and was towed to Big Tub Harbour for repairs. The repairs were never completed and the vessel sank in the harbour. Nearby is the city of Grand Rapids, a two-deck steamer that caught fire in Little Tub Harbour, burned to the waterline and sank. The wrecks lie in shallow water, making it easy to see from glass-bottom boats or while snorkelling. Big Tub Lighthouse stands at the entrance to the harbour, guiding ships past shoals and into safe water. The lighthouse was built in the late 1800s after years of mariners using lanterns hung from trees to mark the entrance. It is one of the most accessible in the region, located close to the end of Highway 6. The Drumhella Badlands are known for their unusual landscapes, dinosaur fossils, and coal mining history. It is named after Samuel Drumhella, who purchased land in the area and started coal mining operations, leading to the creation of the original town site. The land was once a subtropical environment where dinosaurs roamed. Today, it contains some of the world's largest deposits of dinosaur bones, earning Drumhella the nickname Dinosaur Capital of the World. The area's fossil beds were known to indigenous peoples long before scientists arrived. Local Blackfoot and Cree communities believed the Badlands were a graveyard for giants and considered the land sacred. Jasper National Park is the largest national park in the Canadian Rockies and one of the world's largest dark sky preserves, making it a destination for stargazing. It features valleys, waterfalls, canyons, hot springs and glaciers, including the Columbia Icefield. The area has been home to indigenous peoples, including the Nakota, Cree, Secwepemc and Dainzar for thousands of years. Its name comes from Jasper Hawes, a fur trader who managed a trading post called Jasper House along the Athabasca River. This post became a key stop for travellers and traders crossing the Rockies in the early 1800s. The park's development as a tourist destination began with the construction of transcontinental railways, which brought visitors seeking mountain scenery and adventure. Lucille Lake is one of the many lakes in Jasper National Park, accessible via backcountry trails. Like many of the park's lakes, it is a product of glacial activity and supports a variety of wildlife. The lake is less crowded than some of the park's more famous spots, making it a peaceful location for canoeing, fishing, or birdwatching. Its calm waters and scenic backdrop attract those looking for quiet outdoor experiences. Sunwapter Falls is a pair of waterfalls on the Sunwapter River. The name comes from the Stony language, meaning turbulent water. There are two sets of falls, upper and lower, with the upper falls being more accessible. The falls are most impressive in late spring and early summer, when melting ice from the Aabaska Glacier increases the river's flow. The Aabaska Glacier is one of the most visited glaciers in North America and is part of the Columbia Icefield. It has been receding for over a century due to warming temperatures, leaving behind rocky moraines and a visible record of its retreat. It is also very accessible, as visitors can walk to its edge or join guided tours to learn about its origins and ecology. The Aabaska River flows from the Columbia Icefield through Jasper National Park, shaping valleys and supporting a myriad of ecosystems. Historically, it served as a major route for indigenous peoples, fur traders, and explorers like David Thompson, who used the river to cross the Rockies. The river is known for its recreational activities like rafting and fishing, and powerful waterfalls such as Aabaska Falls. Aabaska Falls is known for its force rather than its height. The river plunges over a layer of hard quartzite, carving potholes and a short canyon below. The mist from the falls makes the surrounding rocks slippery, and safety barriers are in place for visitors. The falls are a popular stop for their dramatic water flow and geological features. Molen Lake is the largest natural lake in the Rockies and is famous for Spirit Island, a small photogenic island accessible only by boat. Indigenous people called it Chaba Imne, meaning Beaver Lake. The lake became widely known after Mary Schaefer, following a map from Sampson Beaver, explored and wrote about it in the early 1900s. Molen Canyon is the deepest accessible canyon in the Rockies, with some sections reaching 50 metres deep. A hiking trail follows the canyon, crossing several bridges and offering views of waterfalls and rock formations. Peggys Cove is known for its wave-washed granite rocks, fishing village, and the iconic lighthouse perched at the edge of the Atlantic. The village was established in the early 1800s by families of German descent who relied on fishing and small-scale farming. Fishing remains a core part of daily life, with lobster boats still setting out from the harbour. The community's population peaked in the early 1900s, supporting a school, church, general store, and lobster cannery. Tourism began to overtake fishing as the main economic driver after the Second World War, with visitors coming to see the fishing boats, explore the rocks, visit local art galleries and souvenir shops, and experience the working village. Strict land use regulations keep the area's appearance largely unchanged, preserving its rustic character and preventing overdevelopment. Peggys Cove Lighthouse, officially called Peggys Point Lighthouse, is one of the most recognised and photographed lighthouses in the world. The first lighthouse was built in the late 1800s as a wooden structure with a beacon on the roof, later replaced by the current reinforced concrete octagonal tower in the early 1900s. The lighthouse stands about 15 metres high and marks the eastern entrance to St. Margaret's Bay, guiding ships past the rocky coastline. Over time, the colour of the light changed from red to white, then green, and finally back to red to conform to international standards. For many years, the lighthouse housed a post office in its lower level, where visitors could send mail with a special lighthouse-shaped cancellation mark. The post office closed in 2009 due to mould concerns. Joffrey Lake's Provincial Park is known for its 3 turquoise, glacier-fed lakes, Lower, Middle and Upper Joffrey Lakes. The park's name comes from Joffre Peak, which was named by climbers in honour of Joseph Joffre, a French general from the First World War, though he had no direct connection to the area. For the Liliwat Nation and Nkwakwa, whose traditional territory includes the park, the area is called the Banquet Place, valued for its abundance of plants, minerals and wildlife. The lakes get their distinctive colour from rock flower fine particles created by glacial movement suspended in the water, which reflects blue and green light. The park's popularity has soared in recent years, leading to a day pass system to manage visitor numbers and protect the fragile environment. Matia Glacia is the main glacier feeding the 3 Joffre lakes, visible from the upper lake, and dominates the view with its thick, icy mass stretching between Mount Matia and Mount Hartzell. Reaching it is a challenging scramble beyond the main trail, as there is no official path and the terrain can be slippery and unstable, where ice blocks frequently break off. Large ice caves sometimes form at its edge, though these are unstable and should be approached with caution. Quadra Island is recognised for its iconic coastal scenery, strong indigenous presence, and a history shaped by both natural forces and cultural change. The island's name honours Juan Francisco de la Bodega y Quadra, a Spanish naval officer who played a key diplomatic role in the late 1700s during negotiations with British explorer George Vancouver. It is popular with visitors for its hiking and biking trails, kayaking, scuba diving, and the chance to see ancient petroglyphs on the beach. Cape Mudge Lighthouse stands at the southern tip of Quadra Island, marking the entrance to Discovery Passage. The original lighthouse was built in 1898 in response to the dangerous shipwreck-prone waters between Quadra and Vancouver Island. The current octagonal concrete tower, built in 1916, replaced the original wooden structure and remains in operation today. Yoho National Park is located in southeastern British Columbia, featuring scenic mountain landscapes, waterfalls, fossil beds, and wildlife. The park is located in the traditional territories of the Secwepemc and Ktunaxa First Nations, who use the area for travel and hunting. It became one of the earliest national parks in the country, created alongside Glacier National Park. Taka Falls is the second tallest waterfall in the country, with a total height of 373 metres and a main drop of 254 metres. The falls are easily accessible via a short paved trail, making them a popular stop for visitors of all ages and abilities. The path leads close enough to the base that visitors can feel the spray and, on sunny days, see rainbows forming in the mist. The road to the falls is open seasonally, typically from mid-June to mid-October, due to avalanche risk in winter. Scarborough Bluffs is known for its white cliffs that rise above the shoreline of Lake Ontario, forming a dramatic escarpment along the city's eastern waterfront. The bluffs stretch for several kilometres and are home to multiple parks, with Bluffers Park being the only one with a sandy beach. They are a geological record of the last ice age, as sediments, including plant and animal fossils, were deposited and created layers that are visible in the cliffs today. The lower portion of the bluffs is made up of ancient fossil sediments, while the upper layers consist of sand and boulder clay. Today, it is a popular destination for hiking, walking, picnicking, and boating. Elora is a historic Ontario village known for its scenic limestone cliffs, 19th century limestone architecture, and the dramatic Elora Gorge. The area was originally home to the Atawandaran before European settlement began in the early 1800s. Its downtown is recognised for its limestone architecture, a result of the local abundance of limestone and its popularity as a building material after 1850. The Elora Gorge, with its cliffs and rapid waters, was once used as a dumping ground until a massive fire in 1868 prompted a shift toward conservation and recreation. Today, Elora is a destination for outdoor activities like tubing, ziplining, rock climbing, and hiking along riverside trails. The Elora Quarry Conservation Area is a former limestone quarry that has become a popular swimming and cliff jumping spot. Located on the town's western edge, the quarry is surrounded by steep limestone cliffs up to 12 metres high and filled with clear, emerald water. Thunder Cove is characterised by its sandstone cliffs, unique rock formations, and a wide sandy beach. The beach stands out from others in the region because of its geological features. The cliffs and sea stacks are shaped by constant wind and water erosion, making the landscape change over time. It is located near Darnley and has become a popular spot for both locals and tourists, especially during the summer. Squamish is known for its dramatic meeting of ocean and mountains, deep indigenous roots, and reputation as an outdoor recreation destination. The Squamish Nation has lived in this region for thousands of years, with place names and stories reflecting their enduring connection to the land and waters. Traditional villages, resource sites, and spiritual places are spread throughout the area. Many oral histories recount events like the Great Flood, when people tethered their canoes to the summit of a local mountain to survive. Snoqualmie's Chief Mountain, often simply called the Chief, is a massive granite dome that towers over Squamish and Howe Sound. Its Squamish name, Siam Smanit, refers to a respected leader, teacher, or elder, and the mountain is a place of great spiritual power for the Squamish people. According to legend, the chief was once a longhouse transformed to stone by supernatural beings, and spirit animals are said to be visible in the rock face. Geologically, the chief formed around 100 million years ago from magma that cooled deep underground. It is considered the second largest granite monolith in the world and is famous for its sheer cliffs and 3 distinct summits. Shannon Falls is the 3rd tallest waterfall in the province and easily accessible from the Sea to Sky Highway. The falls are spiritually significant to the Squamish nation, with legends describing a 2-headed sea serpent, Say Noth Ka, who carved the falls by slithering up the mountainside. The falls are named after a landowner who used the area's clay for brick making in the late 1800s. Over time, the site has been used for industry, relief camps, and even as a brewery's water source before becoming a provincial park. Logging history is still visible in the surrounding forest, with old stumps showing springboard notches from early loggers. The Sea to Sky Highway, officially part of Highway 99, connects Squamish to Vancouver and Whistler and is known for its dramatic views of mountains, ocean and forests. The route has a history of challenging construction, with blasting and excavation required to carve the road into cliffs above Howe Sound. It is famous for its scenic pullouts, access to parks and trails, and as a gateway for adventure tourism. In fact, it draws visitors for road trips, cycling, and as the starting point for exploring Squamish and its surroundings. Serving as the capital of Newfoundland, St John's is known for its colourful row houses, steep hills, and one of the oldest and most storied harbours in North America. Its most reputable area is Water Street, recognised as the oldest main street in North America, where sailors and traders have gathered for centuries. The city's culture is shaped by Irish, English and Indigenous influences, visible in its music, food and festivals. Traditions like the Screechin ceremony, where visitors kiss a cod and drink local rum to become honorary locals, are unique to St John's. Quidi Vidi is a historic fishing village within the city, known for its working harbour, colourful houses and old fishing stages perched over the water. It has played roles in defence, with batteries built by the French and British, and in industry, with a fish plant later converted to the Quidi Vidi Brewery, famous for its iceberg beer brewed from iceberg water. Fort Amherst Lighthouse stands at the entrance to St John's Harbour and is the site of the region's first lighthouse, built in 1813. The current wooden tower dates to 1951 and is the third lighthouse on the site. The lighthouse was constructed inside a British fort built to defend the harbour from naval attacks, including during the War of 1812, when captured American ships were towed into the harbour. Winnipeg is the capital of Manitoba, located at the confluence of the Red and Assiniboine rivers, a place called the Forks. The city's name comes from Lake Winnipeg to the north, derived from the Cree word Winnipak, meaning muddy water or murky water, a reference to the silt-filled waters of the lake and rivers in the area. The region became a fur trade hub, with the Hudson's Bay Company and Northwest Company both establishing posts and competing fiercely. The historically significant Red River Rebellion, led by Louis Riel, also took place here, resulting in the Manitoba Act and the city's incorporation soon after. It grew as a commercial and transportation centre, especially after the arrival of the railway, and became known for its grain exchange and as a gateway to the west. Interestingly, the city inspired the name of Winnie the Pooh, a black bear cub purchased by Lieutenant Harry Colborne, which later became the inspiration for A. Milne's famous character. St Boniface Cathedral stands as a symbol of the city's French and Catholic roots. The first church on this site was built in 1818 by Father Joseph Norbert Provincial, making it the oldest Catholic mission west of the Great Lakes. However, it has been rebuilt several times due to fire, with the most imposing structure completed in 1908, designed in the French Romanesque style. This building was largely destroyed by fire in 1968, but its limestone facade and walls were preserved. A new church was constructed within these ruins in 1972, combining old and new architectural elements. Whiteshell Provincial Park is a large natural area east of Winnipeg, known for its rugged Precambrian shield landscape, abundant lakes, rivers and boreal forests. The park's name comes from the cowrie shells used by the Anishinaabe people in ceremonies and trade. The area became popular for recreation in the early 20th century, with the development of summer cottages and resorts. The resort town of Whistler is known for its world-class ski resort, outdoor adventure, and scenic mountain setting. Its modern history began in the early 1900s, when it became a destination for fishing and summer recreation. The opening of a lodge on Alta Lake helped establish Whistler as a popular resort long before skiing arrived. The construction of the Pacific Great Eastern Railway made the area more accessible, leading to further development for logging, mining and tourism. In the 1960s, a group of businessmen set out to develop the area as a ski resort, hoping to host the Winter Olympics. It soon opened for skiing in the mid-1960s, and the resort quickly gained international recognition, eventually hosting the 2010 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games. Brandywine Falls is a prominent natural attraction located just south of Whistler, within Brandywine Falls Provincial Park. The waterfall drops about 70 metres over a vertical cliff formed by layers of basaltic lava flows from the Gabaldi volcanic belt. The falls were created when Brandywine Creek, originating from the Powder Mountain icefield, eroded the softer materials beneath a hard cap of basalt, resulting in the plunge seen today. The falls are best viewed from a designated platform on a park trail. Carter's Beach is a white sand beach on Nova Scotia's south shore, featuring clear turquoise water and 3 interconnected bays. The area stands out for its natural beauty, often compared to tropical beaches, though the water remains cold year-round. It is also a complex system of dunes, salt marshes, streams and forests, supporting rare and at-risk species. The dunes act as a natural defence against coastal erosion and climate change, but recent years have seen increased damage due to both storms and human activity, including trampling and littering. Port Mouton Lighthouse, located on the northern tip of Spectacle Island, has guided vessels into Port Mouton Harbour since 1873. The current wooden square-tapered tower was built in 1937, replacing the original structure. The lighthouse was essential for local fishing boats and commercial ships, providing a safe passage through the often foggy and rocky waters of the Atlantic. Interestingly, it has survived dramatic events, including a lightning strike in 1882 that shattered its lantern room and split the tower, and several shipwrecks in the surrounding waters, such as the Clifford J. White in 1916 and the Ethel Emerson in 1884. The polar bears of Churchill are known worldwide for gathering in large numbers each fall along the shores of Hudson Bay, earning the remote town the title Polar Bear Capital of the World. Churchill sits at a unique geographic point where the bay's ice melts completely each summer. This forces the local polar bear population, which is the largest living bear species, to come ashore and wait for the sea to freeze again. During this time, bears fast and rest in earthen dens. The town's location on a promontory, combined with the flow of fresh water from local rivers, means the ice forms earlier here than elsewhere along the bay, giving the bears a strategic advantage for returning to the ice and resuming their seal hunt as soon as possible. Algonquin Provincial Park is known for its vast wilderness, thousands of lakes, and a long tradition of outdoor adventure. The park's name comes from the Algonquin people, who are the indigenous inhabitants of the region. Established in 1893, it is the oldest and first provincial park in Ontario and was created to protect the headwaters of major rivers, preserve forests, and provide a wildlife sanctuary. The park's landscape boasts rolling hills, rocky ridges, and over 2,400 lakes, along with hundreds of streams and rivers. It sits at the transition zone between northern coniferous and southern deciduous forests, supporting an uncommon mix of plant and animal species. This ecological variety has made it an important site for wildlife research and conservation. Oxtongue River Ragged Falls. Provincial Park is recognised for its powerful waterfalls, especially Ragged Falls, which is consistently ranked among the top waterfalls in the region. The park protects a stretch of the Oxtongue River just outside the west boundary of Algonquin Provincial Park, featuring both Ragged Falls and High Falls. It is an ancient glacial spillway formed when meltwater from the Algonquin Highlands flowed into a much larger prehistoric lake known as Lake Algonquin. The area inspired many works by Tom Thompson and the Group of Seven, with over 40 known paintings created along the Oxtong River and Oxtong Lake. The city of Vancouver is known for its picturesque coastal setting, mountain views, and role as a major Pacific port. The area was originally home to the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples, who lived and traded along the shores and rivers for thousands of years. The first European settlement began in the 1860s with sawmills and a small community called Granville, which grew around a tavern established by Gassy Jack Dayton near Hastings Mill. In 1886, the city was incorporated and renamed Vancouver, in honour of the British explorer George Vancouver, who surveyed the coast in the late 1700s. The city's economy was driven by logging, shipping, and grain exports, and it became a hub for prospectors during the Klondike Gold Rush. Vancouver's multicultural character developed as people from around the world arrived for work and opportunity. Harbour Centre is a prominent skyscraper in downtown Vancouver, easily recognised by its round observation tower. Opened in 1977, it stands at the crossroads of Gastown and the city's business district, close to the waterfront. The building is a hub for business, shopping, and education, with Simon Fraser University's downtown campus located in the complex. The main draw for visitors is the Vancouver Lookout, a 360-degree observation deck offering panoramic views of the city, mountains, and ocean. Stanley Park is Vancouver's largest and most famous public park, occupying the northwest corner of the downtown peninsula. The land has a deep history, originally home to the Musqueam, Squamish, and Burrard First Nations, who established villages and used the area for fishing, hunting, and ceremonies. After colonisation, the land was set aside for military use before being leased to the city as a public park in 1888 and named after Lord Stanley, the Governor-General at the time. Stanley Park is known for its old-growth forest, scenic seawall, and variety of attractions, including beaches, the Vancouver Aquarium, and historic sites like the Brockton Point Lighthouse. The park's trails, gardens, and picnic areas make it a favourite for walking, cycling, and family outings. The Rocky Mountains, stretching from northern British Columbia through Alberta, are defined by their rugged peaks, deep valleys, glaciers, and expansive forests. However, the Canadian Rockies are distinct from their southern counterparts. Unlike the American Rockies, which are mostly made of metamorphic and igneous rocks, the Canadian Rockies have sharper, more jagged peaks and wide U-shaped valleys. The tree line is lower here, and the climate is cooler and wetter, resulting in larger rivers and more glaciers. Geological research indicates the Canadian Rockies formed over 100 million years ago when the North American continent collided with a microcontinent, pushing up the land and creating the mountain range. The Bay of Fundy is iconic for having the highest tidal range in the world. Twice a day, billions of tons of seawater flow in and out, causing the water level to rise and fall by up to 16 metres in some places. This tidal movement is so powerful that it exceeds the combined flow of all the world's freshwater rivers. The tides shape the coastline, carving dramatic cliffs, sea stacks, and exposing vast mudflats and fossil beds. Duck Pond Beach is located near St. Martin's in St. John County, along the Bay of Fundy. This beach is best explored at low tide when the receding water reveals a rocky shoreline tide pools and sweeping views of the bay. Visitors can walk far out on the exposed ocean floor, discovering shells, seaweed and marine life left behind by the retreating water. Fort Langley is known as the birthplace of British Columbia, and for its role as a major Hudson's Bay Company fur trading post on the Fraser River. Established in 1827, the fort was built to secure trade routes and British interests in the region, especially as tensions rose with American traders and the border between British and American territories remained unsettled. It was the first permanent European settlement on the Fraser River and marked the start of continuous contact with local indigenous communities, including the Stoulo and Kwantlen peoples. Local chiefs encouraged the trade of salmon and cranberries, leading to exports as far as Hawaii and California. Barrels of salted salmon and cranberries became key products, and indigenous workers were hired for farming, fishing, and barrel making. The fort also became self-sufficient in food and supplied other posts, even exporting produce to Russian America, which is modern-day Alaska. Liard River is characterised by its wild, remote course, stretching through British Columbia, Yukon, and the Northwest Territories, and by the famous Liard River hot springs. The river's name comes from the French word for eastern cottonwood, a tree that grows in abundance along its banks. It begins in the Pelly Mountains and flows southeast through rugged terrain, marking the northern end of the Rocky Mountains, before curving north and east to join the Mackenzie River. The port city of Hamilton is widely recognised for its steel industry, with major manufacturers like ArcelorMittal Dofasco employing thousands and shipping millions of tons of steel each year. Its location by a major lake has provided key transportation routes and access to resources, making it a central hub for steel production. The construction of a canal through the outer sandbar in the early 1800s transformed Hamilton into a major port, fueling further economic growth. This industrial identity earned Hamilton the nickname Steel City. Albion Falls is one of Hamilton's most well-known waterfalls, located in the East End at the edge of Kings Forest Park. The falls are classified as a cascade, with water tumbling over rock shelves and steps down the Niagara Escarpment. The falls are almost as wide as they are tall and can be viewed from multiple platforms, though access to the base is currently restricted for safety reasons. Bruce Peninsula National Park is recognised for its dramatic cliffs, turquoise waters, and extensive forests. The park sits atop the Niagara Escarpment, a massive limestone ridge that shapes the landscape and creates cliffs plunging into Georgian Bay. The Niagara Escarpment also runs through the park and is about 400 million years old. In fact, the park protects the longest stretch of undeveloped Niagara Escarpment and Lake Huron shoreline in the region. The land was traditionally used by the Saugeen Ojibwe nations, including the Chippewas of Nawash and Saugeen First Nation. The area is also known for caves, cobblestone beaches, and karst formations, making it a destination for outdoor activities such as hiking, camping, swimming, and birdwatching. Fort McPherson is a historic trading post and a community with deep roots in the Teetlick Gwich'in culture. It was established as a trading post by the Hudson's Bay Company in the mid-19th centuries to serve as a centre for the fur trade and as a supply point for the region. Anglican missionaries arrived in the 1860s, with Archdeacon Robert MacDonald living in the community for over 50 years. He translated the Bible into the Gwich'in language, leaving a lasting influence on local traditions. Haida Gwaii is an archipelago made up of around 150 islands off the northern Pacific coast. It features many traits of its indigenous culture, such as monumental totem poles, traditional longhouses, and a living connection between people and the sea. The islands are also famous for their temperate rainforests, rare species, and thriving marine life, including whales, salmon, and dense kelp forests. The archipelago was previously called the Queen Charlotte Islands, a name given by Captain George Dixon in the late 1700s after his ship, which was named for Queen Charlotte. The official change to Haida Gwaii was made to honour the Haida people's long history and connection to the land. It is sometimes called Islands at the Boundary of the World, reflecting its remote location and the Haida worldview. Halifax is known for its role as a major Atlantic port and the capital of Nova Scotia. Its deep, ice-free harbour has made it a strategic gateway for trade, immigration, and military operations. The city's maritime history is reflected in its long-standing naval dockyard, the first in North America, and its early adoption of ferry and yacht services. Its port has connected it to global shipping routes and played a key role in the movement of people and goods, as well as military activities since its founding. In fact, it became a free port in the early 1800s, allowing foreign ships to move cargo in and out, which boosted its economic importance. It is also one of the largest natural harbours in the world. Africville was a black community established by freed American slaves and black settlers after the War of 1812, becoming close-knit despite facing decades of neglect and a lack of basic services. In the 1960s, the city demolished Africville under an urban renewal program, forcibly relocating residents and destroying their homes. The Africville Museum, housed in a reconstructed church, tells the story of the community's resilience and the struggle for recognition and justice. Halifax Harbour is a natural harbour that has been a vital point for trade, immigration, and military activity for over 2 centuries. It has hosted ferry services, naval dockyards, and major shipping operations. The harbour is also the site of dramatic events, including shipwrecks and the infamous Halifax explosion. Its deep waters and strategic location continue to make it a centre for shipping and tourism. George Island sits in the middle of Halifax Harbour and is home to a historic lighthouse. The island was used for military defence, prison camps, and as a quarantine site, while the lighthouse helped guide ships safely into the busy port. Today, George Island and its lighthouse are open to visitors, offering interesting tours about its legacy. Cluane Lake is the largest lake entirely within the Yukon, stretching alongside the Alaska Highway and surrounded by mountain landscapes. It is known for its clear waters, fishing opportunities, and as a gateway to Cluane National Park, an area famous for wildlife and some of the tallest peaks in the region. However, its water levels and drainage have shifted dramatically over thousands of years due to the advance and retreat of the Cascawelsh Glacier. At times, the lake has drained in different directions, either toward the Bering Sea or the Gulf of Alaska, depending on glacier movements. In 2016, there was a sudden river diversion event that caused the main source of water for Kluane Lake to disappear within days, leaving behind dust storms and mudflats where there had been water for centuries. The lake's water level has fluctuated by more than 40 metres over the past 5,000 years, as shown by drowned trees and raised beaches along the shoreline. Rivière des Mille Îles, meaning River of 1,000 Islands, is a channel of the Ottawa River that separates Île Jésus, now the city of Laval, from the North Shore suburbs of Montreal. The river is known for its numerous small islands, which are part of the Hochelaga archipelago, and for its shallow, slow-moving waters that create a unique environment that supports a wide range of plant and animal life. Saint-Eustache is a city along the Rivière des Mille Îles, known for its historic sites and cultural attractions. The Manoir Globensky, built in the 1800s for Lord Charles Auguste Maximilien Globensky, now houses a museum space that presents the history of the city. Its church is often associated with the events of the 1837 rebellion, where it served as a stronghold during a key battle. Nickel Beach is a popular destination, known for its sandy shoreline and views of Lake Erie. The beach is recognised for being accessible, family-friendly, and offering a variety of amenities that appeal to both locals and visitors. In fact, it is notably one of the few drive-on beaches in the area, allowing vehicles to park directly on the sand. It is especially known for its relaxed atmosphere and recreational opportunities, including swimming, sunbathing, walking, and water activities. Interestingly, it features a take a toy, leave a toy bin, encouraging visitors to share and swap beach toys, which fosters a sense of community among beachgoers. Quebec City is recognised as the capital of Quebec and stands out as one of the oldest European-founded cities in North America. Its historic core, known as Old Quebec, is famous for its well-preserved fortifications, cobblestone streets, and stone buildings that reflect centuries of French and British influence. Old Quebec is the only walled city north of Mexico, and its architecture, including gates like Porte Saint-Louis and Porte Saint-Jean, offers a direct connection to the past. The city's upper and lower towns are linked by steep stairways and a funicular, with Place Royale marking the site of its founding by Samuel de Champlain in 1608. The Fairmont-le-Château Frontenac dominates Quebec City's skyline, perched atop Cap Diamant. Built in the late 19th century by the Canadian Pacific Railway, it was designed to attract luxury tourists and remains one of the world's most photographed hotels. The hotel sits on the site of the former Château Saint-Louis, which served as the seat of colonial power for both French and British governors. It hosted the Quebec Conferences of World War II, where Allied leaders planned key strategies. Its chateau-esque architectural style was inspired by French Renaissance castles. Parlement de Québec is located near the Citadel and is the seat of Quebec's provincial government. Housed in a Second Empire-style building completed in 1886, its architecture is inspired by the Louvre in Paris and features statues of important figures in Quebec's history. The building is open to visitors for guided tours, offering insights into the region's political history and legislative process. Montmorency Falls is a waterfall located just outside Quebec City. The falls are taller than Niagara Falls and are a popular destination for hiking, zip-lining, and viewing platforms that offer panoramic views. The site includes a park with trails, a suspension bridge, and a historic manor with a restaurant. Gros Morne National Park features unique geological features that provide direct evidence of continental drift and plate tectonics. It exposes a cross-section of the Earth's crust and mantle, including the tablelands, a rare area where mantle rock is visible at the surface. This feature helped confirm the theory of plate tectonics and continental drift. The tableland's barren, rust-coloured terrain stands in stark contrast to the surrounding forests, and is one of the few places on Earth where visitors can walk on the planet's mantle. The park takes its name from Gros Morne Mountain, the second highest peak in Newfoundland's long-range mountains. French Rivertown is a small municipality named after the nearby French River, a waterway with a long history as a major fur trade route. The river's name comes from the Ojibwa, who called it the French River, because it brought French missionaries and explorers into their territory. Early maps by explorers like Étienne Brulé and Samuel de Champlain recorded the river's importance as a gateway for trade and exploration. Cathedral Grove is known for its ancient, towering Douglas fir and western red cedar trees, some of which are over 800 years old. Located in Macmillan Provincial Park on Vancouver Island, it is one of the most accessible places to experience old-growth temperate rainforest and has attracted visitors for generations. Its name was inspired by the Governor-General Viscount Willingdon in the 1920s, who remarked that the tall, stately trees resembled the columns and arches of a cathedral. Public campaigns to protect Cathedral Grove began in the early 1900s, with botanist James Robert Anderson among the first to call for its preservation. After years of public pressure, Forester H.R. Macmillan donated land in the 1940s, leading to the creation of Macmillan Provincial Park. Ottawa is the capital city, known for its political significance, historic architecture, and dynamic arts and festival scene. It sits at the meeting point of the Ottawa, Rideau, and Gatineau rivers. The name Ottawa comes from the Algonquin word adawe, meaning to trade. This name reflects the city's long history as a meeting and trading place for indigenous peoples who used the river for commerce and travel long before European settlement. The city is officially bilingual, reflecting both English and French influences, and is home to a mixed population and a large number of national museums, galleries, and institutions. Parliament Hill is Ottawa's most iconic site, overlooking the Ottawa River. The complex includes the centre block with its Peace Tower and Library of Parliament, as well as the east and west blocks. The buildings are designed in Gothic Revival style, chosen to symbolise parliamentary democracy and distinguish the city from American neoclassical architecture. The original centre block was destroyed by fire in 1916, with only the library surviving. The current centre block and Peace Tower were completed in the 1920s. Built in the early 1800s for military defence, the Rideau Canal connects Ottawa to Lake Ontario at Kingston. The canal was engineered by Colonel John By, and its construction led to the founding of Bytown, which later became Ottawa. The canal is the oldest continuously operated canal system in North America, and was vital for trade and immigration in its early years. Today, it is best known for recreational boating in summer and as the world's largest naturally frozen skating rink in winter, stretching for several kilometres through the city. The canal's locks are still hand-operated, and its scenic route is lined with parks, historic buildings, and wildlife habitats. The Great Bear Rainforest is one of the largest remaining temperate rainforests in the world, stretching along the central and northern Pacific coast. It is known for its ancient cedar and spruce trees, deep fjords, and granite mountains. The region is especially famous as the home of the rare white spirit bear, a unique black bear with a recessive gene that gives it white fur. The spirit bear, or Kermode bear, is so rare that only a small number exist, and they are found almost exclusively in this region. According to local legend, the spirit bear was created by the raven as a reminder of the last ice age, when the land was covered in glaciers. The area is a global model for ecosystem-based management, balancing conservation with sustainable economic opportunities for local communities. Grouse Mountain is a favourite destination for both locals and visitors, offering hiking, wildlife experiences and snow sports. It stands on the traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Squamish, Musqueam and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. The mountain was named in October 1894 by the first recorded non-Indigenous hikers to reach its summit. They named it after the sooty grouse, a large game bird they encountered and hunted during their climb. The Grouse Mountain Ski Resort is one of the most popular winter sports destinations in the region. Skiing on grouse began in the early 20th century, with the first rope tow and ski lodge built at the base of the Cut Run. The resort expanded over the decades, adding chairlifts and new runs, and today offers a range of terrain for skiers and snowboarders of all abilities. Niagara Falls on the Canadian side is known for its powerful waterfalls and panoramic views. The main feature is Horseshoe Falls, the largest of the three falls that make up Niagara Falls. Horseshoe Falls is recognised for its curved shape and the immense volume of water that plunges over its crest every second. producing a constant roar and mist that can be seen from far away. The Canadian side is considered the best vantage point for viewing all three waterfalls: Horseshoe, American, and Bridal Veil Falls. The Niagara River connects Lake Erie to Lake Ontario and is the waterway that feeds Niagara Falls. The river is known for its strong current, rapids, and the deep Niagara Gorge downstream from the falls. Over thousands of years, the river's erosive force has carved out the gorge and moved the falls upstream. It served as a key route for indigenous peoples, explorers and traders. It later became a strategic military boundary, with forts built along its banks and battles fought during the 7 Years' War and the War of 1812. Oakville is a lakeside town known for its historic downtown, scenic harbours, and a long tradition of shipbuilding and trade. The area was originally inhabited by indigenous peoples, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, who used the land for fishing, hunting, and agriculture. The town's development began in the early 1800s, when Colonel William Chisholm purchased land at the mouth of 16 Mile Creek. He saw potential in the area's natural harbour and established a shipbuilding yard, attracting settlers and industries focused on lumber and trade. Bronte Harbour is a historic port area within Oakville, originally established as a fishing and shipbuilding village at the mouth of 12 Mile Creek. The village was settled by United Empire Loyalists, and its early economy was driven by sawmills, gristmills, fishing, and stone hooking, the practice of collecting lake bedstone for construction. Revelstoke is a mountain city recognised for adventure tourism, a well-preserved historic downtown, and its proximity to Mount Revelstoke National Park. The city's roots are tied to the railway and the early mining and forestry industries. The arrival of its iconic Canadian Pacific Railway was a turning point, establishing Revelstoke as a key stop and opening the area to trade, tourism, and settlement. The mountains around Revelstoke are famous for outdoor adventure, as they are part of the Mount Revelstoke National Park. Mount Revelstoke National Park is known for the meadows in the Sky Parkway, a scenic drive that climbs from valley forests to subalpine wildflower meadows and offers access to hiking, picnicking, and a historic fire tower at the summit. Pacific Rim National Park Reserve is known for its dramatic coastline, temperate rainforests, and long stretches of sandy beaches. Located on the west coast of Vancouver Island, the park reserve is divided into three main areas: Long Beach, the Broken Group Islands, and the West Coast Trail. Each area offers distinct landscapes and experiences, from ancient forests and tidal pools to remote islands and challenging wilderness hikes. The park's name comes from its location along the edge of the Pacific Ocean, part of the larger Pacific Rim that stretches along the ocean's boundary from Alaska to South America. Serving as the capital city of Ontario, Toronto is the largest city in Ontario and a major economic, cultural, and political centre. Defined by its iconic skyline and multicultural neighbourhoods, its name is derived from the Mohawk word Takaronto, meaning where trees are standing in the water. The city was originally called York when it was founded as the capital of Upper Canada in 1793. After the land was acquired from the Mississaugas in the Toronto Purchase. In 1834, it was incorporated as Toronto to distinguish it from other places named York and to adopt the indigenous name. The site was important for trade, with the Toronto Carrying Place Trail serving as a key route for Indigenous and later European traders. Today, major events like the Toronto International Film Festival and Caravana attract international attention. The CN Tower dominates the skyline with its unique design, originally built as a communications and observation tower. Completed in 1975, it was the world's tallest freestanding structure at 553 metres from 1976 to 2000. The tower features observation decks with panoramic views, a revolving restaurant, and the Edge Walk, where visitors can walk along the outside ledge of the tower. Old City Hall opened in 1899 and was the largest municipal building in North America at the time. Designed by architect E.J. Lennox in the Romanesque Revival style, it features a distinctive clock tower and intricate stonework. Originally, it served as the city's municipal headquarters from 1899 to 1966. The building has since survived threats of demolition and now serves as a courthouse. Casa Loma is a grand Gothic Revival-style mansion built from 1911 to 1914 for financier Sir Henry Pellat. It was the largest private residence in the country at the time, boasting secret passages, an elevator, and unfinished amenities like a pool and bowling lanes. Today, it is a museum and popular filming location, offering a peek into early 20th century luxury and ambition. Located in Queen's Park, the Ontario Legislative Building houses the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. Completed in 1893 in the Richardsonian Romanesque style, it is surrounded by parkland leased from the University of Toronto. A notable fact is that the building was designed with an iron frame, allowing for large windows. Fort York was built in 1793 and is considered the birthplace of urban Toronto. It played a key role in the War of 1812, especially during the Battle of York, when it was captured and destroyed by American forces. The fort was rebuilt and continued to serve military purposes for over a century. Today, it is a museum and National Historic Site, preserving Toronto's military and colonial history. The University of Toronto, founded as King's College in 1827, is one of the oldest and most prestigious universities in the country. Its main campus features historic buildings like University College, established in 1853 with a design inspired by Oxford and Cambridge. The university is known for academic excellence, research, and its influence on the city's intellectual and cultural life. Forillon National Park is located at the tip of the Gaspé Peninsula, known for its dramatic landscapes, which include forests, seacoasts, salt marshes, sand dunes, and the final stretch of the Appalachian Mountains. The park's creation in 1970 was the first of its kind in Quebec, but it came with controversy. Over 200 families were expropriated from their land, an act that later received an official apology from the House of Commons for how it was carried out. Meanwhile, the Cape Gaspé Lighthouse stands atop a 95-metre cliff at the eastern tip of the park, marking the boundary between the Gulf of St. Lawrence and the Atlantic Ocean, Lawrence and Gaspé Bay. Glacier National Park's name comes directly from its many glaciers, which have shaped the landscape. Indigenous people, including the Kootenai, have long called the area the place where there is a lot of ice, and early explorers referred to it as the land of the shining mountains because of the bright, reflective snow and ice visible from the plains. European explorers arrived in the 19th century, and the Great Northern Railway played a major role in promoting the area as a tourist destination. The railway built historic hotels and chalets, many of which are now National Historic Landmarks. The park was officially established in 1910 after years of advocacy by conservationists like George Bird Grinnell, who called it the Crown of the Continent. Owen Sound, often called the waterfall capital of Ontario, is known for its concentration of scenic waterfalls, including Inglis Falls, Jones Falls, and Indian Falls. The city sits where the Potawatomi and Sydenham rivers meet Georgian Bay, and its landscape is shaped by the Niagara Escarpment, which creates dramatic drops and cascades throughout the region. The area's waterfalls are connected by marked trails, making it possible to visit several in a single day or enjoy longer hiking adventures. In winter, snowshoeing to the falls is a popular activity. Notably, the area was also a destination for Black Americans escaping slavery, as well as settlers from England, Scotland, and Ireland. Its industries included brickmaking, logging, and transportation, all supported by its location on Georgian Bay and the arrival of the railway. Victoria is the capital city of British Columbia, located on the southern tip of Vancouver Island. Known as the Garden City, Victoria is famous for its mild climate, abundant green spaces, and year-round flowers. It is also one of the oldest cities in the Pacific Northwest, with British settlement beginning in the early 1840s. The city's coastal setting offers views of the water and, on clear days, the Olympic Mountains. The British Columbia Parliament buildings are a landmark facing Victoria's inner harbour. Designed by English immigrant Francis Rattenbury and completed in the late 19th century, the buildings feature a neo-Baroque style with a central dome, ornate stonework, and a statue of Queen Victoria on the front lawn. The buildings have served as the seat of the provincial government since 1898, replacing the earlier wooden bird cages that housed the legislature. Craigdarroch Castle is a Victorian-era mansion built between 1887 and 1890 for coal baron Robert Dunsmuir and his family. Envisioned in the Scottish baronial style, the mansion was intended to showcase the Dunsmuir family's wealth and social status. The castle features 4 floors, stained glass windows, intricate woodwork, and a commanding view over the city. Capilano Suspension Bridge Park is known for its iconic suspension bridge, forested trails, and cultural exhibits. The park's main feature is the Capilano Suspension Bridge, which stretches high above the Capilano River, offering visitors a walk through the treetops. It was first built in 1889 by Scottish civil engineer George Grant Mackay using hemp ropes and cedar planks. The ropes were carried across the river with the help of August Jack Catzalano and his team of horses. The bridge has been reconstructed several times. Wire cables replaced the original ropes in 1903, it was reinforced in 1914 and completely rebuilt in 1956 with concrete anchors. The bridge and park attract over 1 million visitors annually, making it one of the most visited attractions in the Vancouver area. Capilano Lake is a man-made reservoir located upstream from the park, created by the Cleveland Dam to meet the growing city's needs. In fact, drinking water was first piped to Vancouver from the Capilano River in the late 1800s. The area around the lake is part of a protected watershed, and public access to the water is restricted to keep the supply clean. The lake supplies about 40% of the drinking water for the Greater Vancouver area. Writing on stone Provincial Park, known as Aisinaipi in Blackfoot, is famous for its unique landscape of hoodoos, sandstone cliffs, and the largest concentration of indigenous rock art on the North American Great Plains. The park is recognised for its cultural and spiritual significance, particularly to the Blackfoot people and other indigenous groups. Its name comes from the thousands of petroglyphs and pictographs found on the sandstone cliffs throughout the park. In fact, it contains over 50 rock art sites and thousands of individual carvings and paintings, some estimated to be as old as 5,000 years. Meanwhile, the hoodoos and rock formations were created by the erosion of sandstone deposited 85 million years ago, shaped by wind, water, and ice after the last ice age. Istu Bay James is a vast northern region known for its immense forests, thousands of lakes and rivers, and abundant wildlife. The region is considered one of the world's last great pristine areas, offering opportunities for fishing, hunting, canoeing, and wildlife viewing. Its taiga and boreal forests cover a fifth of Quebec, and the area is famous for natural wonders such as the Northern Lights and the presence of rare species. The area also contains some of the oldest rocks on Earth, dating back over 2.5 billion years, part of the Superior Geological Province. Aaviat is a Hudson Bay community known for its strong Inuit cultural traditions and distinctive stone carving, which stands out for its minimal and austere style. Artists use a very hard local stone called steatite, which is said to be harder than steel. Unlike the more naturalistic carvings from other regions, Aaviat's works are often described as minimalist, focusing on the essence of the subject rather than detailed realism. The community is also known for sealskin clothing, beadwork, and traditional practices, with Inuktitut widely spoken and hunting still central to daily life. Banff National Park is known for its mountain scenery, turquoise lakes, glaciers, and abundant wildlife. It is the oldest national park in Canada, established in 1885 after the discovery of hot springs by railroad workers. The park's creation marked the start of the country's national park system and was driven by a desire to protect the area's natural resources and promote tourism. It was named after Banffshire, Scotland, the birthplace of two major Canadian Pacific Railway financiers. Lake Peyto is a glacier-fed lake known for its bright turquoise colour and wolf-head shape. It is named after Bill Peyto, an early Banff guide and warden. The lake's colour comes from glacial rock flour that enters the water each summer. Lake Peyto is a popular viewpoint along the Icefields Parkway and is often featured in photographs and guidebooks. Stewart Canyon is a scenic area near Lake Minnewanka, featuring a forested trail that follows the Cascade River. The hike offers elevated views of the rushing river, mossy forest floors and wildflowers. A wooden bridge spans the canyon, providing a vantage point for the dramatic landscape. Moraine Lake, set in the Valley of the Ten Peaks, is a glacially fed lake known for its bright blue colour and mountain backdrop. The lake's hue is due to light refracting off rock flour from surrounding glaciers. It is accessible only in summer and has not been altered by dams or drainage. The lake is a popular spot for photography, canoeing and hiking. Elk are among the most numerous large mammals in Banff National Park, with several hundred living in the lower Bow Valley. These animals are key herbivores, serving as prey for predators like wolves. They are social animals, often seen in groups, and are known for their impressive antlers and seasonal migrations. Their presence is a major draw for wildlife watchers, especially during the autumn rut, when males compete for mates. Victoria Glacier is a prominent glacier above Lake Louise, providing meltwater that gives the lake its famous turquoise colour. It is visible from hiking trails such as the Plain of the Six Glaciers, where visitors can see its crevasses and the waterfalls it feeds. Lake Louise, called Ho Run Numne by the Stony Nakoda, is a glacial lake surrounded by mountains and forests. It was renamed after Princess Louise Caroline Alberta, daughter of Queen Victoria. The lake is known for its vivid turquoise water, a luxury hotel named Chateau Lake Louise, and as a base for hiking, canoeing, and skiing. Montreal is the largest city in Quebec and a major cultural and economic centre. Standing out for its French-English character and cosmopolitan energy, the city is located on an island at the confluence of the St. Lawrence and the Prairies rivers, with Mount Royal at its centre. Grew rapidly in the 19th century with the opening of the Lachine Canal and became the largest city in British North America. It was the capital of the United Province of Canada for a period and was significant in finance, trade and industry. The city hosted Expo 67 and the 1976 Summer Olympics, events that shaped its international profile and urban landscape. Montreal's multiculturalism and bilingualism are also central to its identity, with French as the dominant language, but English and many other languages widely spoken. The Montreal Clock Tower, completed in 1922, stands at the entrance to the Old Port. It was built to commemorate sailors lost in World War I and is sometimes called the Sailors' Memorial Clock. The tower is 45 metres tall, with 192 steps leading to observation points. Its clock mechanism was designed by the same firm that made Big Ben's clock in London. Notre Dame Basilica is a Gothic revival landmark in Old Montreal, known for its ornate woodwork, stained glass windows, and grand organ. The basilica was completed in 1829 and is one of the city's most visited sites. The basilica has hosted major events, including the wedding of Céline Dion and the funeral of former Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. The Montreal Biodome, housed in the former Olympic Velodrome, simulates 5 ecosystems of the Americas, from tropical rainforest to Arctic. It is home to hundreds of animal and plant species and offers an immersive experience for visitors. The biodome is located near Olympic Stadium and is a popular family attraction. St. Joseph's Oratory is the largest church in Canada, a Roman Catholic basilica dedicated to St. Joseph in the world. Founded in 1904 by brother André Bessette, the oratory sits on Mount Royal and features a large basilica, votive chapel, and the tomb of brother André. Pilgrims come to pray and see the collection of canes and crutches left by those who believed they were healed. Kluane National Park and Reserve is a vast wilderness in the southwest Yukon, known for its towering mountains, massive ice fields, and rare wildlife. The park is home to Mount Logan, the highest peak in Canada and the second highest in North America, as well as 17 of the country's 20 tallest mountains. Glaciers dominate the landscape, covering most of the park and forming one of the largest non-polar ice fields in the world. It was set aside in the early 1970s and is managed cooperatively with local First Nations, reflecting ongoing land claim negotiations and respect for Indigenous stewardship. This is Canada, a land of hidden wonders and remarkable architectural marvels. Now, if you don't want to miss the most unreal wonders of New Hampshire, check out this video.